Watch the most successful people move through the world, and you'll notice something striking. They carry themselves differently. Not with arrogance, not with loud proclamations of their abilities, but with a quiet, unmistakable certainty. They walk into rooms as if they belong there. They speak as if their words matter. They make decisions without endless second-guessing. They face uncertainty without visible panic. This isn't accidental. This isn't something they were born with. This is confidence, and it's projected so naturally because it's built so deeply. These people aren't necessarily more talented than you. They haven't faced fewer obstacles. They don't know secrets you can't access. What they have is something more fundamental, an internal self-assurance that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. They believe in themselves when others doubt them. They trust their decisions when outcomes are uncertain. They move forward when most people freeze. And this inner certainty shapes everything else. How they're perceived, what opportunities come to them, how they handle pressure, the results they create. Here's what's interesting. Most people think confidence is a personality trait, something you either have or don't have. The lucky few are born confident. Everyone else struggles with insecurity. But this is completely wrong. Confidence is not a trait, it's a skill, a mental capacity you develop through deliberate practice. Just like you can train physical strength through consistent exercise, you can train confidence through consistent mental and behavioral practice. This means something profound. If you currently lack confidence, if you doubt yourself, if you hesitate when you should act, if you seek constant validation from others, none of this is permanent. These are just current patterns, and patterns can be changed. You can develop the same quiet certainty that successful people possess, the same calm self-assurance, the same unshakable inner foundation. But you must understand how confidence actually works, and you must be willing to do the internal work that builds it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build confidence that doesn't waver when circumstances challenge it. Confidence that remains steady when others doubt you. Confidence that allows you to move forward when uncertainty is present. This isn't about faking it. This isn't about pretending. This is about genuine internal development that transforms how you see yourself and, consequently, how the world sees you. Most people feel insecure or hesitant for reasons they don't fully understand. They attribute it to their personality, to their past, to their circumstances. But these are symptoms, not causes. The real cause of insecurity is simpler. It's how you talk to yourself, how you interpret events, how you measure your worth, and how you respond to challenges. Consider what happens in your mind when you face something uncertain. A presentation, a difficult conversation, a new opportunity, a challenge. If you lack confidence, your internal dialogue is predictable. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I'm not good enough? I don't know if I can do this. This is too risky. I'm not ready. These thoughts feel automatic, natural, true. But they're not. They're learned patterns, and they're destroying your confidence before you even begin. Now contrast this with someone who has developed confidence. They face the same uncertain situation, but their internal dialogue is completely different. I can handle this. I've prepared. Whatever happens, I'll figure it out. This is an opportunity to grow. I trust myself. These thoughts aren't delusional optimism. They're trained responses, and they create completely different outcomes because your internal dialogue shapes your behavior. Your behavior shapes your results. Your results shape your confidence. It's a cycle. And right now, most people are trapped in a negative cycle they don't realize they're creating. But inner self-assurance transforms everything. When you genuinely believe in yourself, when you trust your capacity to handle challenges, several things shift simultaneously. First, your perception changes. You see opportunities where others see threats. You see growth where others see failure. You see possibilities where others see limitations. This shift in perception opens doors that remain closed to the insecure. Second, your influence expands. People are drawn to confidence. Not loud, aggressive confidence. Quiet, steady confidence. When you speak with certainty, people listen. When you act with conviction, people follow. When you remain calm under pressure, people trust you. Confidence creates a gravitational pull that attracts opportunity, relationships, and resources. Third, your resilience increases. Setbacks that would devastate someone with fragile self-esteem barely slow you down. Criticism that would paralyze the insecure becomes useful feedback. Failure that would make others quit becomes learning that makes you better, because your worth isn't dependent on external validation or perfect outcomes. It's rooted internally. Unshakable. This transformation is available to you, but it requires understanding what confidence actually is and deliberately building it through specific practices. Let me show you what this looks like through real examples. Years ago, I watched a woman named Alicia navigate a situation that would have crushed most people. She was presenting a major proposal to executives who held her career in their hands. High stakes, high pressure. Midway through her presentation, one executive interrupted with harsh criticism. Her data was wrong. Her conclusions were flawed. Her entire approach was misguided. The room went silent. Everyone waited to see how she'd respond. Alicia did something remarkable. She didn't get defensive, didn't apologize nervously, didn't crumble. She paused, took a breath, then calmly asked the executive to explain specifically what data was incorrect. He cited a number. Alicia pulled up her source documentation and showed it was accurate. The executive had misunderstood her slide. She explained it clearly, without condescension. Then she continued her presentation as if the interruption had been a minor clarification rather than an attack. The room's energy completely shifted. The executives who had been skeptical became engaged. The one who criticized became respectful. By the end, Alicia's proposal was approved. But more importantly, she established herself as someone who could handle pressure, who didn't lose composure when challenged, who had genuine confidence in her work and herself. I asked Alicia later how she remained so calm. She told me that a few years earlier, she would have panicked in that situation, would have become flustered, would have lost credibility, but she'd deliberately trained herself differently. She'd practiced handling criticism in low-stakes situations. She'd worked on separating her worth from others' opinions. She'd mentally rehearsed difficult scenarios so they didn't catch her off guard. That moment in the boardroom wasn't luck. It was the result of deliberate confidence building that had been happening for years. Now contrast Alicia with someone I'll call Marcus. Marcus was talented, perhaps more naturally gifted than Alicia. He had impressive credentials, strong technical skills, and good ideas. But Marcus lacked confidence. He second-guessed himself constantly. He sought approval before taking action. He over-explained his decisions as if defending them. He apologized unnecessarily. And most damaging, he hesitated when opportunities appeared. Marcus was offered a promotion that would have accelerated his career, but it required relocating and taking on responsibilities he'd never handled before. Instead of accepting with confidence, Marcus agonized. He listed all the reasons it might not work. He worried about what could go wrong. He asked everyone's opinion. And while he was deliberating, the opportunity went to someone else. Someone who said yes immediately, who projected confidence even though they probably had similar doubts. This pattern repeated throughout Marcus's career. Opportunities appeared. Marcus hesitated. Others who were less qualified but more confident seized them. Marcus remained stuck, not because he lacked ability, but because he lacked the inner certainty to act decisively. His insecurity became a self-fulfilling prophecy. He doubted himself, so he hesitated. He hesitated, so he missed opportunities, so he had fewer successes. Fewer successes reinforced his doubt. The negative cycle continued. What separated Alicia and Marcus? Not talent, not intelligence, not even circumstances. The difference was internal. Alicia had built confidence deliberately. Marcus had allowed insecurity to persist by default. Alicia trusted herself. Marcus waited for external validation. Alicia acted despite uncertainty. Marcus needed certainty before acting. And these internal differences created entirely different life trajectories. This is the power of confidence. And the cost of lacking it. Your external circumstances matter less than your internal certainty. Your talents matter less than your belief in those talents. Your opportunities matter less than your willingness to seize them without perfect assurance. Confidence is the multiplier that makes everything else work. Without it, even significant advantages produce minimal results. With it, even modest abilities produce extraordinary outcomes. So how do you build this? How do you develop the kind of unshakable confidence that remains steady when the world doubts you? Let me break down exactly how confidence forms and how you can deliberately construct it. First, understand that confidence begins internally before it shows externally. Most people have this backwards. They think if they achieve enough, if they get enough validation, if circumstances align, then they'll feel confident. But this creates dependence on external factors you can't control, and it keeps you trapped in insecurity because external validation is never enough. You achieve something, feel briefly confident, then doubt returns when the next challenge appears. Real confidence works oppositely. You build internal certainty first. You decide to believe in yourself regardless of current evidence, not as delusion, as choice. You choose to trust your capacity to learn, to grow, to handle challenges. This internal foundation then drives behavior that creates external results, which reinforces the internal confidence. The cycle becomes positive instead of negative. This internal work is mental. It's how you talk to yourself, how you interpret events, how you respond to setbacks. If your internal dialogue is constantly critical, dismissive, doubtful, you cannot build confidence. Your own mind is working against you. But if you deliberately cultivate supportive, encouraging, trusting self-talk, you create the foundation for confidence. This isn't empty affirmations. It's honest reframing. Instead of "I'm not good enough," you train "I'm learning and improving." Instead of "what if I fail," you practice "what can I learn from this?" Instead of "I don't know if I can," you develop "I'll figure it out." Same situations, different mental responses, and those different responses accumulate into different levels of confidence. Second, repeated small victories reinforce self-belief. Confidence isn't built through one major achievement. It's built through countless small moments where you prove to yourself that you're capable. Every time you do something that scares you slightly and survive, confidence grows. Every time you face discomfort and push through, you prove you're stronger than you thought. Every small success, even ones nobody else notices, reinforces the belief that you can handle challenges. This is why action is essential. You cannot think your way to confidence. You must act your way there. Even small actions, especially small actions, because small actions are sustainable. You can take them daily, and daily repetition creates the compound effect that builds genuine confidence. Start with things just outside your comfort zone. If you're afraid of public speaking, speak up in a small meeting. If you're insecure about your appearance, make eye contact with strangers. If you doubt your abilities, volunteer for a slightly challenging project. These small steps seem insignificant, but each one proves something to your subconscious. I can do things that make me uncomfortable. I survive, I even succeed sometimes, and those proofs accumulate into belief. Third, external criticism only matters if you allow it. Here's something confident people understand that insecure people don't. Other people's opinions are just that. Opinions. They're not facts. They're not truth. They're perspectives shaped by the critic's own biases, insecurities, and limitations. And you get to decide how much weight to give them. When someone criticizes you, you have a choice. You can internalize it as evidence of your inadequacy, or you can evaluate it as potentially useful information. If the criticism is valid and helps you improve, use it. If it's not, discard it, but don't let it define your worth. Your worth is inherent, unchanging, not determined by others' opinions. Confident people receive criticism without crumbling because they've separated their identity from external judgment. They know who they are. They know their value. Other people's assessments don't shake that foundation. They might adjust their approach based on useful feedback, but they don't question their fundamental worth. This separation is trained. When criticism comes, pause. Ask yourself, is there truth here I can use? If yes, extract it and improve. If no, let it go. Don't defend. Don't internalize. Just observe and decide consciously whether this opinion deserves influence over you. Most don't. And recognizing that is liberating. Fourth, mental rehearsal and visualization strengthen certainty. Your brain cannot fully distinguish between vividly imagined experience and actual experience. This is why athletes use visualization. Why performers rehearse mentally. Why successful people imagine scenarios before they occur. Mental rehearsal creates neural pathways similar to those created by actual practice, which means you can build confidence for situations you haven't faced yet by experiencing them mentally first. Before a challenging situation, visualize yourself handling it with confidence. See yourself calm, composed, speaking clearly, acting decisively. Feel what it's like to be that version of yourself. Make it vivid, detailed, real. Do this repeatedly. Your subconscious begins accepting this version of you as normal. When the actual situation arrives, you've already experienced succeeding at it dozens of times mentally. The uncertainty is reduced. The confidence is increased. This isn't wishful thinking. It's neuroscience. You're literally training your brain to respond with confidence instead of fear, with certainty instead of doubt. The more you rehearse mentally, the more natural, confident behavior becomes, until it's not an act. It's genuinely who you are. Fifth, calm, steady behavior projects authority and attracts opportunity. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet, it's steady, it's composed. People who constantly proclaim their abilities are usually compensating for internal doubt. People who genuinely believe in themselves don't need to announce it. Their behavior speaks. When you move through the world with calm certainty, people notice. They trust you. They want to work with you. They give you opportunities, because everyone is looking for people who can handle pressure, who don't panic when challenges arise, who remain steady when others are scattered. This steadiness is magnetic. It draws people and opportunities toward you. Train this through your daily behavior. Don't rush when you walk. Move with purpose but without frenzy. Don't speak quickly when nervous. Slow down and articulate clearly. Don't fidget when uncertain. Still your body and project calm. These physical behaviors influence your internal state and others' perception simultaneously. Over time, they become natural, and the projection of confidence becomes genuine confidence. Now here's something most people miss. Your daily habits and subtle thought patterns are determining your confidence level constantly, not occasionally. Every single day. Every moment you allow self-critical thoughts to dominate, you're weakening confidence. Every time you avoid something uncomfortable, you're reinforcing insecurity. Every instance where you seek external validation before trusting yourself, you're training dependence. But the opposite is also true. Every moment you catch negative self-talk and reframe it, you're building confidence. Every time you do something slightly uncomfortable, you're proving your capability. Every instance where you trust your own judgment without needing approval, you're strengthening independence. These micro moments seem insignificant individually, but accumulated over weeks and months, they determine your fundamental level of self-assurance. Most people never pay attention to these patterns. They wonder why they lack confidence, but never examine the thousands of small ways they're undermining it daily. They focus on external achievements while ignoring the internal work that makes achievement possible. They want confidence without doing the training that builds it. But you can be different. You can become conscious of these patterns. You can deliberately shift them. And through that shift, you can build confidence that nothing external can shake. Let me give you specific practices to implement immediately. First, identify one area of life where you want more confidence. Don't try to build confidence everywhere simultaneously. Focus. Maybe it's professional situations. Maybe it's social interactions. Maybe it's creative pursuits. Maybe it's physical activities. Choose one domain where increased confidence would significantly improve your life. Be specific about what confident looks like in this area. How would you behave differently? How would you speak? How would you carry yourself? What would you do that you currently avoid? Create a clear picture of your confident self in this specific domain. This gives your subconscious a target to move toward. Second, practice small deliberate actions in that area daily. Not huge leaps, small steps. If you want confidence in social situations, initiate one brief conversation daily. If you want professional confidence, volunteer to share one idea in meetings. If you want creative confidence, share one piece of work publicly. If you want physical confidence, try one new activity. The size of the action matters less than the consistency. Daily practice creates compound effects. Each small action proves capability, reduces fear. Over time, what felt terrifying becomes comfortable. What seemed impossible becomes normal. And your confidence in this area grows naturally. Track these actions. Write them down. Create visual evidence of your progress. This serves two purposes. It provides accountability, and it shows you concrete proof that you're changing. Your mind needs evidence. Give it evidence of your growing capability. Third, reflect on successes and internalize progress. Most people dismiss their successes. They achieve something and immediately move to the next challenge without acknowledging what they accomplished. This prevents confidence from building because your subconscious never registers success. It only registers that you're constantly striving, which reinforces the belief that you're not enough yet. Instead, pause after successes, even small ones them. Feel them. Internalize them. I did that, I was capable. I handled it. Let your subconscious register that you succeeded, that you were enough, that you can trust yourself. This registration is what builds confidence at the deepest level. Keep a success journal. Write down daily wins, not just major achievements. Any moment where you showed up despite fear, where you pushed through discomfort, where you acted with even slight confidence. Review this journal regularly. Let your mind see the accumulating evidence of your capability. This evidence becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. Fourth, train your mind to reinterpret criticism as information, not judgment. When someone criticizes you, your automatic response is probably emotional. You feel hurt, defensive, diminished. This emotional response prevents you from evaluating whether the criticism has value, and it damages your confidence by suggesting that others' opinions determine your worth. Practice a different response. When criticism comes, pause, breathe. Separate the emotional reaction from the information content. Ask yourself objectively, is there truth here? Is this person identifying a genuine area for improvement? If yes, thank them for the information and use it to get better. If no, discard it without emotional investment. This takes practice. Your initial reaction will still be emotional. But if you consistently interrupt that reaction and consciously reinterpret the criticism, the pattern changes. Eventually, criticism loses its power to disturb you. It becomes just information you can use or ignore. And that shift dramatically increases confidence because you're no longer vulnerable to others' judgments. Fifth, use visualization and mental rehearsal to prepare for challenges. Before any situation that makes you nervous, spend time visualizing yourself handling it with confidence. Close your eyes. See yourself in the situation. Notice details. How you're standing, how you're breathing, what you're saying, how others are responding. Most importantly, feel what it's like to be confident in that moment. Run through the scenario multiple times. See yourself handling it well. See yourself staying calm if unexpected challenges arise. See yourself succeeding. The more vivid and detailed your visualization, the more your brain accepts it as real experience. When the actual situation occurs, you've already succeeded at it mentally dozens of times. The novelty and fear are reduced. The confidence is increased. Also visualize yourself recovering from setbacks. See yourself making a mistake and handling it gracefully. See yourself facing criticism and remaining composed. See yourself failing and learning from it. This prepares you emotionally for imperfection, which paradoxically increases confidence, because you're not dependent on everything going perfectly. You trust yourself to handle whatever happens. These 5 practices are not quick fixes. They're training protocols. You must implement them consistently over weeks and months. But if you do, transformation is inevitable. Your confidence will grow from fragile and dependent on circumstances to solid and self-generated. You'll move through the world differently. You'll be perceived differently. You'll create different outcomes, all because you did the internal work that most people avoid. Here's what will happen as your confidence builds. Initially, the change is invisible. You're doing the practices but don't feel dramatically different. This is where most people quit. They expect immediate transformation and give up when it doesn't appear. But the change is happening beneath the surface. Neural pathways are forming. Self-image is shifting. Evidence is accumulating. Stay consistent. Then you'll notice small moments. A situation that would have made you nervous doesn't. A criticism that would have bothered you doesn't. A challenge that would have made you hesitate doesn't. These moments are signals. Your confidence is solidifying. Keep practicing. Eventually, you'll realize the change is substantial. You're genuinely different. You carry yourself with quiet certainty. You make decisions without excessive deliberation. You face uncertainty without panic. You trust yourself, and others notice. They treat you with more respect, give you more responsibility, offer you more opportunity. Not because you suddenly became more talented, but because you're projecting the confidence that makes people trust your capability. This transformation attracts a different quality of life. Confident people get different opportunities than insecure people. They build different relationships. They create different outcomes, not through manipulation or deception, through genuine internal certainty that shapes everything else. But remember this, confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance is loud, defensive, comparative. It needs to prove itself constantly. It's actually rooted in insecurity. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove anything. It's simply certain, comfortable with itself, not threatened by others' success, not diminished by criticism, just steady. This is what you're building, not loud self-promotion. Quiet self-assurance, not defensive posturing. Calm certainty, not comparison with others. Trust in yourself. This confidence is silent, not loud. Certainty in your mind creates influence in the world. The unshakable are rarely noticed until results appear. Then everyone asks how you stayed so calm through challenges, how you maintained such certainty when others doubted. The answer is simple. You trained it. You built it deliberately. You practiced the internal work that creates external confidence. That work is available to you. Starting now, in this moment, you can begin the practices that will transform how you see yourself and how the world sees you. You can develop the unshakable confidence that successful people possess, not through luck, not through personality, through deliberate, consistent training of your mind and behavior. Confidence is a skill, not a trait, and skills are built through practice. If you commit to these practices, if you remain consistent even when progress seems slow, if you trust the process even when doubt appears, you will build confidence that nothing external can destroy. You will become someone who moves through the world with quiet certainty, who faces challenges without losing composure, who trusts themselves even when others doubt, who remains steady when circumstances are uncertain. That version of you exists, not in some distant future, right now as potential waiting to be developed. The only question is whether you'll do the work to develop it, whether you'll practice the small daily actions that build confidence over time, whether you'll commit to the internal training that most people avoid. Make that commitment now. Choose confidence over insecurity. Choose action over hesitation. Choose self-trust over external validation. And watch how everything changes. Not immediately, but inevitably, because confidence built internally always manifests externally, always creates different opportunities, always produces different results. In our next conversation, we'll explore something that builds naturally on this foundation: how to maintain complete focus and mental clarity even under extreme pressure. How to think clearly when circumstances demand your best. How to perform at your peak when stakes are highest. But that mastery requires the confidence we've built today, the certainty that you can handle pressure, the trust in your own capability. Build that foundation first. Then we'll add the next layer, one step at a time, one practice at a time, until you've become someone completely different, someone unshakable, someone confident, someone free.